Hi, everyone. It's Candace Breen, and I'm here to read a fan letter. If you haven't already gotten the book, After the Darkness, please go and get it. It's available on Amazon. You can also get it by visiting my website, and I'll put that in the comments, and you can order it. But I'm going to read a fan letter. I'm going to try to read a fan letter and answer something from a fan. So here we go. Okay, dear Dr. Breen, I read your book After the Darkness, and I was very troubled by your childhood experiences. How can schools and communities protect children and prevent children from enduring what you did? Was there any help available during the time you were were you able to get help? What's available now? How can we help protect children today? What do I do? I want to help. And this is from Tammy in Florida. It's a lot of questions, Tammy. And I thank you for your fan mail, your questions. So I'm going to try to answer as best I can. But how can schools and communities protect children, first of all, and prevent them from going through what I did? I just want to let you know that times have changed since when I was small and in school in the 1970s, 1980s. Things have changed. But we still have a long ways to go. For instance, if a child reports, I was a teacher in the 90s and part of the early 2000s. And when a child expressed that they had some trouble at home or that there may have been incidences, sexual abuse, etc., what we were to do is we had to first report it. We couldn't keep the information. So as a teacher, we had to report whatever happened. And then it probably went to social services, who pay a visit to the house, and eventually the child would be removed from the home. And sometimes, if not placed with a relative, placed in the system so they could be adopted, which is not necessarily a good or bad thing, but it's also not helping the situation, in my opinion. I've seen children run away from home because they were going through a lot of challenging circumstances. And then what do? They end up being on the streets. And it really hurts me because, as you can see, the system is flawed. If a child is enduring abuse at home, they don't want to get necessarily put in a strange home, probably separated from everything that they know, their siblings, etc. And then they end up in another situation in foster care or being adopted, maybe being adopted. It's not necessarily a good thing. So that's the best way I can answer that question in regards to what's available. What can people do? Well, you know, what I really, really try to push for is training in communities and at schools, so people know what to look for in regards to signs of a child who's being abused, and know what to do. Create like a safe house, so where these children can go, where they're not necessarily in a foster care. They have a safe house where they can be, where there's some type of counseling available for them, with group meetings with like peers who've gone through the same situation, have to help them heal. Removing them doesn't help if they're not healed, and if they don't get help, professional help or group therapy help. Community therapy at this safe house where they can go, they can stay, where they can be taken to, instead of just automatically put into foster care and put into an adoptive home, or that may not be better for them. And as you said, to your next question, was there any help available during the time? I didn't know anything. I was just a child, so I really didn't know where to go, if to go, and I was scared. I was scared. I was at the time I was at a private school when when the first incident happened with my father. I was at a parochial school, and I wasn't very well liked then because I wasn't Catholic, and my parents didn't volunteer at the school or anything like that. So that actually hurt me, and I had nowhere to go to report it. And I was terrified of being taken and put into foster care or being adopted. I was terrified because it's the unknown. It's better than, sometimes we think as humans, it's better to deal with what we know than step out and deal with something that we don't know. So that's what I dealt with. I didn't have friends at St. Matthew's. If you read the book, you'll know what St. Matthew's is. And in high school, when I did come out about it to a counselor, the school counselor told my teachers, I was very afraid. But I waited 4 years in my senior year before I decided to tell someone at school. So that's what happened during my time. And we really, really need to stop shoving this issue under the rug, because the more we do, the more people who get hurt. And it really irks me when I come out and I share my story that took me 20 years to share, okay? 20 years to share. I come out and I try to share my story, and there are so many people who say, I can't deal with this. This is too much for me. Every time someone says that, they're shutting the door in the face of someone who needs help. And it's a serious thing. You can't put reason into this in regards to, well, why didn't they speak up sooner? Why did it take them so long? If you're not a victim, you don't understand that there are so many blockages, this is such a taboo subject. People don't want to acknowledge that it exists. They don't want to talk about it. And it's terrifying, not just for the adults who may be right now going through workplace sexual harassment or rape or anything like that, but children who we're supposed to protect, who are going through this. And we have a long way to go. And I'm doing my best to advocate for better changes, speaking out and sharing my own story. But I'm just one person. And I shared my story via a book, and I give talks and things like that. But that's not where it should end. It should continue. And I know I'm going on and on about this topic, but it's a very important topic to me, as you know. And we really need to make it easier for children and for people to report the sexual trauma that they endure, and to not have them be ridiculed for it or questioned or second guessed. None of that stuff. They should be loved and welcomed and helped, because that's what they need. Myself being a survivor, having a lecture is not helping. Having people treat me like I was disgusting and put the blame on me, saying that I was seductive or I dressed a certain way. I was 13, people, 13. I didn't know anything about seduction. We need a lot of help. So Tammy, that's as best as I could answer your questions. But if you could help in your community by spreading the word, by getting involved in something, or getting trained to do training or something in your community, one person, spread it to another person. That's how we affect change. But I'd like to thank you, Tammy, for your letter, Tammy in Florida. And I encourage anyone else, if you have any questions about my book or any questions you want to ask me related to my books, feel free to contact me on my website, and I will leave it in the comments right here for you. It's www.CandaceNadineBreen.com, and that should help you. There's contact forms on the page, and I encourage you to reach out and speak to me. Thanks again. I'll put my email in there as well. So if you're not able to get on the contact page for some reason, you can email me directly. And I see Lawrence there. Hi, Lawrence. Thank you for joining in on the live feed. And any else who have I missed, thank you for joining. Have a great day. Keep fighting, keep supporting, keep spreading the word, spread love. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.